Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. I'm Max Marie, and today I am launching a new series on my channel where I read Reddit stories and do my makeup. Honestly, this is just my way of continuing to create content without breaking my bank account, which I like to do, and I still plan to do in the future because I love doing like product testing videos and all those kinds of videos. But yeah, this is just a chill, fun little vibe that I wanted to create on my channel. Grab a snack, get cozy, and let's get into these Reddit stories together. So today we're just gonna do some classic Am I the A-hole stories. We're gonna have a great time. It's gonna be great. Today for my makeup look, I'm kind of feeling like the mermaid vibes with my earrings, my jewelry, my nails, the shirt, So that's exactly what we're gonna do. Alright, our first story. Am I the a-hole for dropping out of my friend's wedding the day before? Messy. My best friend, 29 female, recently got married. I, 30 female, have been her bridesmaid for about a year now, partaking in bridesmaid duties. Her and I have been close friends for several years. During our friendship, I moved to the other side of the country and am now on a 6-hour flight away with a 3-hour time difference. Her wedding took place on Saturday. On Thursday, my cat started acting strange, but I didn't think much of it. On Friday, I decided to take care of my cat and take her to the vet. The vet said she had a kidney infection and that it was serious and that my cat would need to be hospitalized. I was terrified that she would die. Oof. Okay. After going back and forth with myself and my fiance for hours, I made the truly difficult decision to call my friend on Friday and tell her that I can't make it to the wedding. When I told my friend, she said I should take care of my cat. I asked her if she was mad, and she said, I don't know how to feel. I love my friend, but I needed to stay here and be with her. It's heart-wrenching to think about my cat needing me and being too far away to come home. I'm all she has. Of course, I felt incredibly guilty missing the wedding, and I still feel awful about the decision. I didn't make the decision lightly. On the morning of the wedding, I sent her a text saying, I hope the wedding goes well and that I'm happy that she's marrying her partner. She said, okay, thanks. I haven't reached out since because I wanted to give her space and have her come to me. 2 weeks have gone by, and she texted me this morning, a little heated. She asked me how my cat was, and I said she's okay. She was hospitalized for a few days and now she's home. She told me that she disagreed with my decision. I told her that I'm so sorry and I feel awful about missing the wedding. I told her that I love her and I continuously apologized. She asked me if I regret my decision and I said no. She asked me why my fiance couldn't handle it, and I told her that it's ultimately my cat and I wanted to be nearby if anything were to take a turn for the worse. One of the other bridesmaids texted me this morning of the wedding, 8 a.m., asking me if I could take a later flight and miss the wedding, but come to the reception, which started at 6 p.m. I said it was too late. Again, I'm 6 hours away and a 3-hour time change. I don't know if there was a direct flight that would have gotten me in on time. My friend told me that people volunteered to her that they would not have made the same decision as me, and that what I did was f***ed up. Okay. I didn't know my cat would be okay until Saturday at 11 a.m. At that point, it was too late. Again, I could not leave my cat if she needed me. I would never expect anyone in my life to abandon their animal. So I was surprised when she said that she would have made a different decision as me, that she would have left her dog to be at my wedding if the roles were reversed. So, Reddit, am I that asshole? Oh my gosh. This story is actually insane. That is just like such unfortunate timing of events. Who would have thought that her cat would have gotten immensely sick right before her best friend's wedding? There's some things in life that you can control, and then there's others that are just completely out of your control. This is one of those events that is completely out of someone's control for the timing of the event, but I think that she did the best thing in terms of like telling her best friend, like, hey, this is what's up, this is what's happening. I'm so sorry that it happens to fall on this weekend. In that situation, there's not much that you can do. But to play devil's advocate, I can definitely understand the disappointment from the bride's point of view of like, I have been planning this event for, some people plan their weddings for years, for it just to not go the way that you would planned, and for someone that you really love to not be there. I can imagine that that would really, really suck. God, multitasking like this is like a lot harder than I thought it would be. It's fine, we'll keep going. At the end of the day, I don't think that OP is the a-hole. I think that the timing of the events is extremely unfortunate. And if it happened to my friend, again, yes, I would be really disappointed and really sad, but I don't think I would be mad at my friend. Like, that's not something that you can control. I would want their cat or their pet to be safe and happy and okay. Like, could you imagine the guilt that I would feel if I told my friend, like, no, you have to come. I planned this whole thing out, blah, blah, blah. And their cat or animal passed away? Yeah, no. For a lot of people, their animals are like their babies. They're like their children. And it's just, people form such amazing bonds with animals, and it's so beautiful, and to just like completely minimize that is absolutely not the a-hole. Oh my god, this person was voted the a-hole. Let's read some comments. Look, I'm a cat person, always have. I have 4 cats right now, but if I had to choose between being in a friend's wedding or staying with my cat when said cat had another human to care for it, I would choose the friend. I mean, I guess. I just, again, a lot of people put a lot of care and emotional weight on animals. Like, okay. Yeah, that's exactly what I said. Someone said, like, what if the cat hadn't pulled through and OP was away when her baby died? Like, no. This person, not the a-hole. I don't care what any of you Redditors say. On to the next one. This one is very interesting. Am I the a-hole for pretending to be Christian? Okay. Hi everyone. So my boyfriend and I got into a fight last weekend. He is a devout Christian. He made this very clear to me when we started dating. I told him pretty much that it's fine for me, but he shouldn't expect me to convert for him. Obviously, I respect any traditions he wishes to follow as long as he respects me and my authority. For a couple of months, he has been a bit more pushy about it. We had a conversation at the time. He told me that he believes it's his responsibility to at least try and get me into the Lord's light. I put an ultimatum then, that he has to respect my views on religion or we'd be done. Things got a bit awkward after this since I didn't feel like joining him for church anymore after this, but I went with him once in a while to show that I care about him. Now, last weekend, we were invited by his mom to a dinner party. Like him, she's very devout, but a sweet lady, so before dinner, she likes to pray and read a Bible passage. Okay, that's sweet, that's cute. No big deal, I'm holding hands and patiently waiting until the food comes out. While eating, she asked what I thought of the passage that she had read. It was a passage where King Solomon offers to cut a baby in half to appease 2 claimed mothers, and the real mother giving up her baby to avoid harming it and thus proving she's the one. I'm sorry. What a nice little passage to read before dinner. Okay, anyways, I just told my mother-in-law my thoughts on it, how it was a beautiful passage and shows that sometimes people can cause a lot of harm by pretending and claiming things that isn't theirs. She was happy and smiled and praised me for how wise beyond my years I am. So my boyfriend just kind of snickered and said that it was funny since this was all an act from me. He exposed me as not being Christian, and I didn't even allow him to try and convert me. His mom just kind of looked sad and said something like everyone gets to choose their own path, but dinner was very awkward after this. So obviously I confront him after that what he did was not cool. I'm fine standing still and praying, and I'm fine listening to a Bible text and discussing it. I'm just not fine being asked to convert, to do these things every day, and I'm certainly not fine being exposed for something as silly as that. He told me that leading his mom on is dishonest, and I should have made the same thing clear to her. In his words, pretending to be Christian is worse than just not being Christian. So yeah, in my opinion, I was just participating in a family tradition with good intention. In his opinion, I was deceiving his family. Am I really the a-hole for trying to make it clear that I don't believe in it? Oof. This story is very, very, very messy. It seems like these two people just don't align within their beliefs, and everyone is entitled to believe what they want to believe. But my issue is just when it starts to get pushed past a boundary of saying, hey, I'm not really comfortable with this, and you're continuing to push this on me. And that's where I'm kind of like, that's not really cool, dude. Go to church and go and practice your beliefs. But if you really truly love this person, it should be about them as a person and not whether they have the same beliefs as you. And don't get me wrong, having a partner that believes in the same things as you and holds the same values that you do, I believe, is very important. Sorry, we have a little screamer in here. Do you want to say hi? Come here. This is Mia. Say hi. Aren't you just the cutest little thing? She hates being picked up. See? Oh, okay, bye. Okay, anyway, as I was saying, yes, it's so important for you and your partner to align within your beliefs and in your values. But when you begin to force that on your partner and it becomes a huge contention point with your partner, it might be time to like go different directions, unfortunately. And then what he did at dinner was just so disrespectful. I can't. That is so disrespectful in front of your entire family. I would be so embarrassed if my partner called me out in a way similar to that, of like, oh, she doesn't even do this, she's just deceiving you. And it's like, dude, whatever. I completely agree with her that she was just being respectful of the family's beliefs and their traditions to pray and read a Bible verse, and she said that she was completely comfortable with that and she respected it. But when it came to just the way that he treated her is absolutely not okay, and definitely crossing a boundary. And I definitely think that this girl needs to explore other horizons. This one in my book is not the a-hole, and that's what they were voted as. So, our next story. Am I the a-hole for advising my sister to only enter plus-size beauty pageants and or become a plus-size model? I, 35 female, have a sister, 27 female, who has done beauty pageants most of her life. Losing affects her more the older she gets. At 22, she gained weight and became plus size. As a plus size woman, she had won every plus size beauty pageant she entered. But as a plus size woman, she has yet to win a beauty pageant that's not specifically for plus size women. She has done some plus size modeling, but treats it more like a stepping stone. Recently, she did extremely well for a plus-size 27-year-old woman in a beauty pageant available to all women. She got runner-up to the winner, who was a thin 19-year-old woman. Afterwards, she was just crying and asking what she'll do now. I gave her advice, but she accused me of being jealous. Am I that? But yeah, Reddit is the reason why I remember therapy exists. This is so incredibly messy. This is so incredibly just mean to say to someone. Like, imagine having worked so hard your entire life to do beauty pageants, and just as you've gotten older, you've gained some weight, which most women naturally do. You still have this idea in your head that you're still a beautiful, wonderful person and have every ability to win a normal beauty pageant for women. And it's just so upsetting that so much of our media is tailored towards being a thin and like non-plus size model or in a beauty pageant. It's so messed up, and that's so incredibly hurtful to say to someone. I do understand where the other sister is coming from and saying like, hey, you've done really successful here. Why don't you just continue trying over here? And it's like, okay, but there's just this one factor about me, and that's the size of my body, that is preventing me from winning other pageants. That is such like a huge insecurity to get through and walk through. I just know as a woman, like, my body and how it is perceived is such like a hurtful thing to talk about or to think about or for other people to point out. So when it's someone that you love most, pointing it out, it can be really, really hurtful. And And maybe in those situations it's better to say, hey, like, just keep trying, you got this, you're wonderful, you're perfect. Maybe they just liked what she said about this a little bit more, and maybe we could try other skills or new dresses. I don't really know how beauty pageants work, but just actual advice, I don't know. Just actual advice on how she could be performing better in these pageants rather than it just being based on the size of her body. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I want to know what some comments say. She came second at 27 years old against a 19-year-old. How is that not a massive win? Sounds to me like the problem isn't her being plus size, and I'm noticing that you're not giving specifics, but her extreme reaction to losing. You're kind of the a-hole, because you're not really helping. If you truly want to help, get her actual help. It's kind of like what I said, was just like, she's doing great, obviously. She came up second. That's awesome. That's a huge thing to be proud of. And you're just saying that because of this one thing, the size of her body is the reason that she's not winning, is just, no. Someone said, not the a-hole. I'm a plus size woman here, and if there's something I've learned, it's that when given the choice between a thin woman and a plus size woman, people are going to say a thin woman is more attractive. She's not going to change society's mind. I'm sure your sister is beautiful, but she's not going to win against a thin woman. It's actually pretty impressive that she was a runner-up. You're giving her a more realistic goal to reach toward. No. I don't agree. I'm sorry. I don't agree. I think that she could do it if she wanted to. Beauty standards, okay? That's all I'm going to say about that one. Make sure to comment your opinions and thoughts down below. I would love to hear them. Our next story. Am I the a-hole for platonically cheating on my best friend? We'll see. I'm in the middle of an ongoing argument with my best friend. My 19-year-old female best friend, 19-year-old male, and I have been close for 3 years. I have quite a large social circle, but it's always been common knowledge that Matt is the person that I obviously am fondest of. People know that, and it's no secret that we spend most of our time with each other. Things were absolutely fine until this week. I was invited on a 5-day camping trip with some of my course mates at college. We spent a lot of time together and wanted to celebrate the end of the semester by saving up to go somewhere. For reference, Matt isn't part of this group because he does another major, so it doesn't really come up in conversation before this point because he hardly knows these people, and it didn't seem like a big deal to me. The trip is scheduled for the start of August, and I told Matt the start of this week that I was going. He went silent, and when I asked him what was the matter, he said that it was weird how I put that much money and time aside for people I've only known since September. Okay, someone's a little jealous. I told him that's ridiculous because we spent a lot of time together as a group and we're good friends. He still went on to say that we've never traveled together and he's got 2 years on them. And then he said it's like I'm a platonic cheater. I feel bad because my first instinct was to laugh a bit, because honestly I didn't expect him to come out like that. But then he hung up the phone and wouldn't answer my text. I didn't know what to do about this because I can't find it in me to apologize. I'm not a cheater, and I feel like he's making me out to be the a-hole for having friends outside of him. To be honest, I think the reason we've never traveled alone is because it'd be a solo trip between 2 members of the opposite sex, and frankly, it'd be dating territory. It's just not appropriate, and I'd rather travel in a group. But Matt's friends aren't my friends, and my friends aren't his. And it's not that I think that would come on to me or anything like that, but I think that's the type of thing I'd rather reserve for a boyfriend. By the way, this is my first time traveling with friends rather than family. So am I the a-hole for choosing to vacation with relatively new friends instead of my best friend of 3 years? Edit, I rang Matt today after reading the comments from the morning and asked if we could meet up to talk in person because I'm not happy about the silent treatment. We argued on Wednesday night. He said he'll come over after a shift on Tuesday, so I guess I'll update if we resolve. I'll probably be doing one because I don't want to drag the situation on. He didn't apologize over the phone, by the way. Okay, I'm sorry, I think Matt is a little bit delulu. It seems to be that Matt is just like the jealous type of friend. You know, those friends that are like, you're only my friend. And they're pretty young. They're like 19 years old. When I was 19, I did have like friends like that still. I think that he's just a little jealous and honestly kind of projecting the fact onto her. At the root of it, I think that he's scared that they might drift apart through her developing new friends. Like she said, like their friend groups aren't really friends with one another. But how long have they been friends? They've been friends for like 3 years, since they were 16. So it seems like they've gone through a decent bit of like change together within like high school and into college. I think that's when friendships start to like drift a little bit, because you're onto a new phase of life or onto new things. He's exploring different avenues, so is she. I actually did have a friendship kind of similar, just in the fact of like our friendship kind of started to drift away as we like got into our 20s from high school, started to do other things. So I think that at the end of the day, that's where he's coming from. And I think that those feelings of like, oh my goodness, am I going to lose my friend to this group of people? I think that's a completely valid feeling and something that a lot of people deal with. But just the way that it was communicated was extremely hurtful, to just be like, you're platonically cheating. It's like, dude, you are not my only friend. There is no rule book to say that I cannot have other friends outside of this friendship. And I think it's completely healthy as you get older to go and look into other different types of friend groups and to kind of like have your own different friend groups. I think that that's really healthy. But just where like the jealousy comes in, it can be really, really difficult to navigate. So I don't think that either of them are the a-hole in this situation. She's definitely not the a-hole in this situation. And I think he's the a-hole. He did an a-hole thing by saying like something really hurtful, but I think it's coming from a place of like, I'm scared. But there is an update. We'll find out if OP and Matt are friends again. Things are kind of resolved, but also up in the air emotionally. In short, Matt came over and it started off pretty heated because I was quite mad. I said he's completely overreacted and it was really immature of him to ignore me for nearly a week. He didn't say much and had his head in his hands for a while, which made me go quiet. He kept saying, I know, I'm sorry, I feel stupid. So I just came out with it and asked if there's something he needed to tell me because I want to know. At this point, I was crying, lol. So he hugged me and said he loved me and he was irrational and jealous. Can't lie, I thought we were going to kiss, but we didn't. I don't know what's going on here, but you guys weren't crazy. We talked more about why the trip bothered him so much, and he kind of echoed what you guys theorized. He felt left behind and said, out of all his friends, I'm the one he values the most, and he'd love to do something like this with a friend one day. Neither of us are that well off and have only been on a handful of trips with family when younger. I can't lie, I was very nervous, very emotional, didn't want to push it by asking explicitly if he had a crush on me, but I do acknowledge the way that we act with each other is a little bit more than wholly platonic. Okay, I think Matt likes you. Maybe it's just one of those loves where you always have an attachment, but it need not to materialize into a romantic relationship. I don't know, I'm still confused. Anyway, I think he was a bit immature at best. You could argue slightly possessive at worst. He said that he said platonic cheater. It was ironic, which explains the theoretical wording, but jealousy was obviously real. We laughed about it for a bit, did a blunt, oh, they smoked. I think we're okay. I mean, I'd love to hear your takes. I know some will say I'm in denial. Haha. Yeah, Matt likes you. He really likes you. But I was right. I was so right. Matty boy just doesn't want to feel left behind. He's just jealous and possessive, and he needs to work through that, honestly. But again, like I said, they're so young. And that is just really common for people to act like that. Yeah, I think that he's just jealous that you're getting to travel and go do new things and explore new things with people that aren't him. And that sucks. But at the end of the day, there's not much you can do about it. Look at this really pretty glitter palette that I have. It's so pretty. Just gonna put some of this glitter on my eyes. I don't know if my makeup looks like I don't know, you tell me. I just did my lashes and eyeliner off camera because it would be way too hard to like multitask that. But let's get on to our next story. Would I be the a-hole if I kicked my boyfriend's sister out of our house? I, 25 female, have been with my boyfriend, 27 male, for 3 years and have moved in with him last year. Everything was going great until Christmas when his parents announced that they were selling the family house and downsizing, and they wanted to go one of those 6-month-long cruises around the world. Fine, whatever they want to do, except they have a younger daughter, Emma, who is 18. Completely unbeknownst to me, my boyfriend had agreed to let Emma live with us until she moved away to uni. This led to a lot of fights between me and my boyfriend and I, because I don't want Emma living with us. Despite all of this, she moved in after the house sold in February. It has been hell. For starters, our house might have 3 bedrooms, but only one was used as a bedroom. One is my home, and the other was a home gym for me and my boyfriend. Emma turned the gym into her room, and now a lot of our equipment is in storage. I hate having Emma here, as she's a total brat and doesn't contribute anything to the house. Here's a list of small things I have to deal with. The second Emma turned 18, she was out with friends, coming back drunk at 3 a.m. and waking up my dogs as she clattered into the house, normally equally with a drunk friend. For the first month of her living with us, she would steal my stuff constantly: skincare, hair care, perfume, clothes, anything. Now I have a lockable box for toiletries so she can't get into them. Has lost 6 different sets of house keys since moving in, and I've had to lock change twice due to various issues. Refuses to do anything I ask her because she's busy. She doesn't have a job. How is she busy? She refuses to eat anything I cook and will demand we order takeaway instead. I have asked her repeatedly for meal ideas. Even if I make the exact meal, she refuses it as it doesn't taste right. The breaking point came last weekend when me and my boyfriend and the dogs went away for the weekend. I was reluctant to leave Emma in the house by herself to my boyfriend, but he said it would be a great way for Emma to gain some independence before going to uni. Big mistake. Oh. We came back in Sunday evening to a trash house and hung over Emma asleep in her room. I had to get a professional cleaner in on Monday to tackle the worst of the mess after I spent half of the night cleaning. I'm done. I want her out of the house. I thought we could deal with this until she moved away in September, but I can't, especially now that she's talking about putting her place on hold for a year so she can go traveling and use our house as a base. No, I want her gone and out as soon as possible. True, she has nowhere to go as her parents aren't back from their cruise until the end of August, but I don't care. I want her gone. Talk to my boyfriend about this, but he won't budge because Emma is family and he can't kick her out. So would I be the if I kicked her out? Okay, and then there's like an edit here, and she basically just mentions that she owns the house. This is a very, very tricky situation. I mean, on one hand, I completely understand like sibling love and being there for your siblings. If my sibling was putting my partner through this, I don't know if I would be able to handle it. I don't think that she would be the a-hole for kicking her out at all, but what I do think is that there are always consequences to your actions. And if you want this relationship to last, you need to really, really, really have a talk with your boyfriend and say, hey, like, it's not really my responsibility to babysit Emma. Can you please, like, actually, like, have a conversation with her and be like, hey, here are the rules, and if you continue to break them, you will go. And at that age, you completely don't have, like, a lot of respect. I don't want to say, like, respect, but it's just difficult to understand, like, oh, this is someone else's stuff. I don't mess with that stuff. In her mind, it's like, oh, this is my boyfriend's house. Oh, no, not her boyfriend, her brother's house. And she can just do what she wants because that's family. And she's an adult. But it's like, girl, if you're not paying rent and like a family is doing this for you and being kind enough to let you stay at their place, like, you need to get it together if you want a place to live. I think that OP could have a little bit more grace for her boyfriend and being like, this is my little sister, I need to take care of her. The brother really needs to step in and say, hey girl, you cannot be doing this. So I don't think that she would be the asshole, but there does need to be more conversations about what's going on here. Okay, so we have an update on Miss Emma. and her mischievous behavior. Kind of like love that for her, honestly. When I was 18, I was like doing like a Bible camp thing, not living my best life like Emma. Hi everyone, I meant to post this on Monday, but I've been busy, so here it is now. Emma and my boyfriend Tom, for this update, both left last week and went to stay with their aunt. Emma is staying there until her parents are back. Tom was staying there for a week to give me space. Tom came around on Saturday evening so that we could talk about our relationship and everything. Long story short, I broke up with him. Okay. Reading all the comments made me realize that I'd been walked all over by him and his sister for far too long. Enough was enough. He's been back and forth over the last few days to get his stuff, and I think he's staying at a friend's house while he looks for a place to rent. Obviously, I'm sad about the breakup, and because I did think I would spend the rest of my life with Tom. Oh, that's actually really sad. But this whole situation has made me realize that I need to be selfish and put myself first for once in my life. As for Emma, she's on a strict curfew and money will be sent to her aunt to cover her expenses. Her aunt has said that she's on a 3-strike policy, but to be honest, I don't care anymore. Emma is not my responsibility and never actually should have been. The money Emma and Tom's parents sent me was used in 2 parts, covering all expenses Emma racked up and the cleaning bill. A very nice spa trip for me. Some friends are coming with me and we all can't wait. My parents are going to look after the dogs. I've booked myself a full body massage and a champagne afternoon tea. So yeah, that's the update. I'm now single and have my house back. Honestly, I couldn't be happier despite the breakup. Thanks to everyone who left comments and helped me find my backbone. Oh, okay, that's honestly not the update I was looking for. It is actually really sad that they broke up, but I'm really glad that OP was able to put herself first and get out of a relationship that was no longer serving her. Sometimes things just gotta go, and that's okay. We are gonna do our last story because I honestly want to go eat some Chinese food. Am I the a-hole for telling my husband's sister that we no longer be going on holiday with his step-siblings ever? My husband's parents are divorced, so he has step-siblings, a stepsister and 1 stepbrother from my mother-in-law's 2nd marriage. He also has 1 sister who I love and get along great with. Every year, the siblings take 1 vacation together. To them, it's probably considered a tradition, and it's been very clear in the few months that we've been married that his step-siblings intend to continue that tradition regardless of how I feel about it. This is an assumption, but I feel like they partly want my husband there because he either pays for it or has access to my father-in-law's vacation homes. The reason I want it to stop is because I don't like his stepsister or his stepbrother's wife. My husband didn't introduce me to his mother's side of the family until after he proposed, and from the start, his stepsister and stepbrother's wife were very frosty and standoffish with me. I have no idea why they dislike me, but I get the vibe that they were expecting our relationship to fizzle out. Now they're a bit nicer to me, but I know they're not my type of people and I much prefer his sister and his father's side of the family. The idea of having to spend a minimum 1 vacation a year with them makes me feel so much dread, and I'm not going to force myself to do it. His stepsister informed me a few days ago that we'd be going to Greece in August. Ooh, that's so fun. I've always wanted to go to Greece. Honestly, the way she told me instead of asking me really rubbed me the wrong way, so I told her we wouldn't be going on holidays with her/his step-siblings going forward. She asked me if my husband had said that, and I told her no, that I was telling her that's how things will be going forward. I know I should have spoken to my husband first, but he knows his step-family hasn't been the most welcoming, and I said it in the heat of the moment. His stepsister essentially told me, his wife, that I couldn't make that decision for him, and that I didn't need to come on the vacation, but my husband definitely would. I'm pretty angry at this point, so I told her he wouldn't go if I asked him not to, which is true, but I think it made it easy for my stepsister to turn my mother-in-law against me. Gotta love some mother-in-law drama. My sister-in-law is siding with me, but I'm pretty sure my mother-in-law doesn't like me very much anymore. My husband agreed he wouldn't go if I didn't want, but he thinks I should have spoken to him and let him handle the conversation because now I look like the bad guy when I should have let him take the blame. So this person was voted out, which is very interesting because I just feel like if you're not comfortable going somewhere and you're not comfortable with certain people. I don't think that you should be entitled to go, but to say that your husband can't go, that's his family, man. Like, that's his family. You can't really take that away from your husband. I'm totally in agreement that if you don't feel comfortable and you will not have a good time on the trip, people have to take like PTO to go on trips, you know? And if she's like, I would rather use my PTO and go on like a solo vacation or a vacation with just my husband, then fine, don't go. But to say that he won't go is very, I don't know, I don't want to say controlling, but it is a little not nice. Let's see what some comments said. Someone said, "You're the asshole. I told her we wouldn't be going on holidays with her/his step siblings going forward. She asked me if my husband had said that, and I told her no, that I wasn't telling her that's how it's going to be going forward. Your husband is right. You should have spoken with him and agreed together how to handle this. Instead, you started a fight. More frankly, there was no reason for one. Your stepsister doesn't need to turn your mother-in-law against you. You're speaking for her son without consulting him, being rude to his stepsister. Yeah, no, she wouldn't like you much after that." Yeah, I mean, that's a kind of a rude way to put it, but I kind of see where this person is coming from of like, you really, really, really should have not started a fight with the family that you believe doesn't like you to begin with. I know I hate the idea of like, oh, I have to appease this part of the family. But if you ever want it to change, you kind of do have to get into their good graces at the end of the day. Regardless of that, you definitely should have spoke to your husband and come to a conclusion together. Together. Communication is key. That's all I'm going to say about that. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know what you think of the makeup look. Let me know what kinds of videos you would like to see in the future, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!